Good evening, I'll call the meeting to order. A couple of members that will probably be here long, and we will not wait for them for a moment. Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda? We will have a couple of small changes to the budget that we won't have to put in here as amendments to the agenda as such. Does anyone anything else that they want to add or? Moving on to the approval of the minutes of January 6th regular meeting. I think you all have a copy of the minutes as drafted.
I make a motion to accept the January 6th.
I'll second it.
Is there discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the January 6th minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. January 13th, special meeting. Minutes thereof.
I will also make a motion to approve the January 13th special
And I'll
meeting.
second it.
Is there discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions? Minutes of 13th are approved. Thank you. Road foreman's report. Good evening, sir.
Evening. We're working on a pavement assessment of all our blacktop roads to prioritize the roads that need attention. I've reviewed them with Springfield Paving, and now V-Trans is going to take a look also. I have a meeting with Nikon, which is a company that does crack sealing, tomorrow to look at the crack sealing the roads that are not scheduled to be paved in the next couple of years to try to extend the life of them a little bit. I've been in contact with Carolyn Coda from V-Trans, who will be our project manager for the Arch Bridge project. They're planning on putting the bridge out to bid this fall, so it's still on schedule. I forwarded the agenda and the minutes from the Depot Road box culvert discussion from the meeting on January 13th. So hopefully that will continue forward. And we had a brief mud season last week and then went back into winter. So we had a little mud repair to do so we'd be able to plow this from the snowstorm. That's it.
Any comments, any questions?
Do you think that the Nikon folks will have a lot to do since they just did sealing last year?
We didn't seal
Green sealer.
any of ours.
Oh, it was Route 30, sorry.
Route 30 they did, yeah. So
Okay.
it's one of those things, if you can keep the water out of the pavement a little longer, it'll last a little longer.
Any other questions, any other discussion? You have a motion.
Make a motion to accept the road foreman's and road commissioner's report.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor of adopting, approving, accepting road foreman's report, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Administrative assistance report.
The town report is in the final stages of proofreading and editing before I send this off to the printers. This will be completed by Thursday. You have tonight the draft policy for the Williamsville Hall Committee that you requested. If you'd like to review and give any recommendations to the chair, I will make any corrections for the board to approve at the next meeting. And we received the U.S. Census Bureau a boundary mapping verification request. With the chair's authorization, I reviewed this and completed it on Friday. I will be out of the office on this Friday, the 24th.
Any questions for the administrative assistant on her report or on any other business?
And make a motion to accept her report.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you. I think I need a wastebasket back here.
I can have you one for the next meeting.
A pending basket, I gotta look at one again. Okay, scheduled members of the public are treasurer, Melissa. What have you for us?
Alright, so I changed up the 3 articles for the town report book, which I think you guys should all have a copy of it. The first one is for town and highway and operating expenses. Those amounts are gonna change now, because I think we have some adjustments going through tonight.
Okay,
And then I changed the capital fund expenditures. And then the last one is for raising the amount for the capital reserve. Hopefully it'll make it a little more clear with all the capital articles, deleting a couple and just using these 2.
Yeah, since they seemed repetitive.
Yep,
Yeah.
and I ran these by the auditor and he liked them a lot better,
okay. Good.
so.
So basically, these changes will change the budget by, overall budget by roughly,
These last numbers that you gave me,
yeah, well,
$3,433 for the increase in the Wyndham county tax.
yeah, we'll do that.
Oh,
We'll
which
get to
ones?
the budget.
Okay,
Okay, I would think we don't need to take any action at this point on this information. It will have to be in the budget. And we'll have a budget discussion a little while later this evening. Once I hear the anything else at this point?
no.
Get you later. Unscheduled members of the public. Well,
Happy to be here.
okay, under old business, we have, as was just mentioned, the Williamsville Hall policy. To be honest with you, I would like to take another little bit of time to look that over again. Does anyone feel we need to take action on it this evening? Or can we do it in 2 weeks, or whenever it is that we get together again?
I personally think it looks great.
Okay. In that case, if you would like to move approval, I would accept the motion.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the Williamsville Hall Committee policy.
I'll second it.
Very good. Well, this is going to be helpful, I think, guidance in the future. And any further discussion on the motion before us? If not, all in favor of approving Williamsville Hall policy, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Zipping right along. Highway mileage report under new business.
That's in your correspondence folder. That's the one that you were looking to get authorization for. It's in the next one down. We already verified the mileage, you just need to sign it and then give it to the town clerk.
There we are.
Just have to sign that, don't we?
He needs authorization.
It says we have 69.612 miles of highway, 12 and a half of legal trail. I don't believe there's a big change in that, so
I make a motion that you sign that on behalf of the select board.
I'll second it.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
May I ask if, is the zoning administrator coming this evening?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think that what I would like to do is bring the question of his coming to a meeting up and see if we can set a date that we can send him a letter to invite him.
Okay. That sounds fantastic.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is to approve the budget for the coming year. And I've been informed this evening of a couple of changes that we should discuss. The major, the one at this particular point is the Windham County tax that we don't have any choice about. We have it in on the draft at $20,000. The request from the county is for $22,933, an increase of $2,933. So if you have that in mind when we approve the budget well, let me put it this way, is there any opposition to adding that?
No.
I don't think we have much choice. We also have a request from the Newfane Hill Cemetery Association. This was added to, or came in on January 2nd, so in all honesty, it's late. However, I do want to give it consideration. Newfane Hill Cemetery Association requests $500 from the town to support its ongoing repair and maintenance efforts, as well as outreach to town Newfane visitors. Brush cutting, tree trimming, and possible stone wall repair are envisioned. Dead tree assessment and possible removal is also a possibility. Informational guide and information box would be desirable to coordinate historic trail with Newfane Common and our first cemetery. Nearly all labor in 2019 was volunteer and will be in 2020, although supplies for the gate and signage total $525 in 2019. We have an item in our draft budget for cemetery maintenance, however that is, as I understand it, primarily for mowing.
And the tree removal,
Then we
right?
put some in for tree removal. So, this message I just read says brush cutting, tree trimming. There's nothing in here where they believe that the $500 is part and parcel of what we've already appropriated.
Is that on the common up there, or is it the one on the hill?
It's a Newfane,
Because there's some gravestones, I think, up on the up on top.
yeah.
I assumed it was the Newfane Hill, which was the one by Mr. Drukes.
Newfane Hill Cemetery Association.
Who's the head of it?
Well, this came from Ken Asti.
Yeah, he's,
I
that's,
think
that's,
that might be the original Fane on the
no,
hill.
no, it's the one they abuse.
It is?
It is a town cemetery.
Right, right.
So it should
But I-
fall within what the budget is already, or?
Well, it needs a lot of work around there. And a lot of volunteers do that.
Sounds as if there's.
You know,
pretty good.
that's a cemetery that is, kept up better than the ones, most of them the town has to do once, well, the town usually does them twice a year. Personally, I don't have a problem with this.
In other words, I would request a motion to add $500 to cemetery maintenance line on our proposed budget to cover this request.
So moved.
Well, second.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
All right.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you. If we were at this point in time to approve our budget for the coming year, without knowing exactly what the totals are, but knowing what we've been working on, what we've had as totals to date, adding 500 for cemetery and 2933 for the county, I would be comfortable with a motion to approve the budget with those additions at this point.
So moved.
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, I would ask that anyone in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Abstentions? I don't believe there's any reason we can't put everything together and have it in shape. So, thank you.
And thank you for all your hard work.
Yes.
Both of you.
Yeah.
For sure. In keeping with budget and related material, I think you've all had a chance to look at the draft select board town report. And I would entertain a motion to approve that report for publication in the town report.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a discussion on the motion before us? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Did a good job reading that up.
Thank you. Good luck. Any other new business to come before us? What are you smiling about?
I think we're happy for you that all of this has been approved. Right?
Right, thank you.
Oh, it's thanks to the work of these two young ladies.
Oh, I know.
That's. the ones
really
that did all-
appreciated,
the
all of
ones
your
that
hard
did all the work. So,
Absolutely.
It's
You
a
did a great job.
tough time of year.
And to the road crew too for doing such a great job on our roads.
Oh,
I did like that. Coming home Saturday night, getting off Route 30 and onto Newfane's roads was a real pleasure.
You all do a fine job.
You have your same complainers that complain all the time. And they go in one ear and out the other.
It's not a perfect world. We do the best that we can do.
Okay.
He really does need a basket back here.
Maybe I should just get one for the chair.
The door's closed, they can't get out.
I'll just get one for his chair.
The side pocket.
Yeah, knowing you, it would come down through and come back up the other side. If there's no additional new business, we'll go to correspondence. We have a memorandum from Carol Hesselbach. I will read it. Town clerk must, by state statute, appoint one or more assistant town clerks. A number of reasons to have an assistant. Chief ones are that if I'm out, a trained assistant can keep the recording of land records current, provide dog licenses, provide other services to residents. There's no requirement in the law the assistant town clerk be a legally qualified voter of the town. Newfane's been very lucky for a number of years to have an assistant town clerk paid for by Vermont Associates. Since I took office in March 2017, this has been Peter Putnam. Peter's allowable time with Vermont Associates is expiring. With the approaching election period and town meeting day, it's important for me to have a trained assistant. Vermont Associates may eventually find applicants that they believe will be a good fit for training here, but that may not occur for some time. In addition, interviewing and training a new assistant would take time that I really would not have for the next few months at least. Therefore, I would like to appoint Peter Putnam as assistant town clerk with his salary paid for from the line item that was budgeted for that position. I see a motion. Do I see a second?
I make a motion that Peter Putnam be appointed as the assistant town clerk.
I'll second it.
I believe that the town clerk appoints with our approval. I'm not sure exactly how that
Yes,
works.
I
but
think so.
Whatever the, no,
Oh,
we appoint, hire,
Gerald does it.
Yeah,
sorry?
Because she's asking for our recommendation.
Yeah,
She's just kind of informing you guys.
okay.
I say, I make a motion, she go ahead and appoint him.
well, she does it, so we don't have to.
Well, the point being that it will, the position will be paid for out of the budget
Yeah.
that we just approved.
Yeah,
Yes.
So, we are in agreement with the town clerk on her request for appointment of an assistant town clerk.
Yes.
I can't think of another way to state it, but I do know. The letter here from Frank Suponski. Dear Newfane Board of Selectmen, I hereby resign as the Newfane Animal Control Officer and as the Newfane Deputy Health Officer effective January 14th, 2020. Thank you for the opportunity to serve in these capacities. Sincerely, Frank Suponski. I don't think we have much choice but to accept his resignation and to thank him for his assistance in the years, the time that he did it. The vacancy will show in the town report. And if we don't have anyone come forward, I would recommend to the board after town meeting that there be an effort to find someone to do it and to fill the other vacancies that we have or will have. And perhaps suggest that other adjoining towns be contacted and maybe there be a joint appointment with some other towns. I think this could be a useful approach for towns that, we're not the only ones that are having trouble of this sort, so. 2 cents worth. We have an email from Ann Landenberger. Fits under correspondence. There's a great deal of paper here, and make sure I have the right. She's, in essence, well, I will read it. I hope your holidays are bright, peaceful, New Year brings you goodness. We'll be away until January 20th. So before we leave, I wanted to check in on the select board response to the memo submitted for your November 18th meeting. I'm pasting the text below as a reminder. What's the next best step to take from here? I will check email while away, connectivity allowing to hear your thoughts. Gratefully, Annie Landenberger. And I don't think I'm going to go into the suggestions that the liaison group forwarded back in November, some of which we have talked about. I'll have to admit that as far as I'm concerned, we have not responded to the liaison group saying, yes, we've talked about it, we think that this is a good idea, and we don't really feel too good about another. Do you want to speak about a couple of the things?
I was just gonna ask Jay to speak on that.
Yeah, useful to.
I spoke to Mark Pickering today for quite some time on this, and he still hasn't heard back as far as the traffic bumps, tables, whatever you want to call them, as being acceptable with federal highway. So his suggestion was that we try to follow the road safety audit, as much of their recommendations as we could, and then back it up with enforcement, and then see how things go for a year or whatever. And because he said that's pretty solid suggestions with data to back them up as to why they suggested stuff, and then see how things go, and then maybe do another speed study after a while and see how things have changed.
Thank you. I don't really know the best way to go ahead. We have, as I suggested, talked about some of these things already. And I think we've given Jay the okay to go ahead and explore and to do some of the things, some of which have been done. I sometimes wonder, and I'll just throw it out, whether it would be worth it for the board to go beyond the liaison group, or whatever they want to call themselves, and have an open hearing in Williamsville, in all likelihood, so that all of the people who might be involved could give the board response to some of these suggestions, and we not have to work just from what the liaison group put forward. I'll leave that at that. I think there are, personally, and I'm not gonna go into any specifics, personally, I think there are a number of suggestions there that are not appropriate. And I think that it needs to have a fairly full discussion, more than perhaps has happened so far. I admit, absolutely, that I was not in on the initial discussions, and don't really have a feel for the history of this, but I think that at the point where we're getting pushed, if you will, it might be well to bring it up and decide where and how from here on out. And unless there's something that someone else would like to say about it at this particular point, I think we have to leave it at that for now.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
The only question I have though is, did you talk to Mark about any part of the signage that could happen? Because there's a half a page about signage and speed limits and digital signs and stop signs and.
The additional stop signs, he said, were now, the stop sign at the arch bridge is part of the new arch bridge, and that should stay.
And painting speed limits.
Yeah,
on
that we're
roads.
already got in the works, so
Okay.
that'll have to wait till spring because it just got too cold. And we've changed the size and the reflectivity of the speed limit signs, so they're the new standards.
Okay,
So it's coming along.
good,
So
thank you.
I think probably there's a newsletter from the Vermont Emergency Management Spring Flood Session scheduled. They will be holding some information sessions in Rutland, Johnson, Brattleboro, Coventry, and Swanton. Brattleboro on February 5th from 9 to 12. It's an open house format. Attendees may come and go as they wish. So that, again, is in Brattleboro at the fire department on Wednesday, February 5th from 9 to 12.
Let me see.
How to stop a flood.
Don't have it rain.
You can't control water.
There's actually, this Thursday, the Planning Commission is meeting here at 6 regarding the floodplains. I saw part of their agenda.
We have a letter from the Southern Vermont Economy Project Coordinator. I have not read this, but we are happy to announce the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation was awarded another round of funding from the USDE Rural Community Development Initiative to continue the Southern Vermont Economy Project. SVEP 2.0 will incorporate features of the original program like webinars, small conferences, mini summits, and of course the annual Southern Vermont Economic Summit. On BDCC's website, you can find a recap of SVEP programs so far, along with an archive of webinars and presentation documentation, which provide valuable information to communities. In this envelope, you'll find a project survey asking you to help us identify key projects happening in your community. We will be hosting general trainings around project stewardship, financial management, project management, and grant writing, as well as covering mini summits around specific technical assistance needed for certain topics. By sharing with us these important projects in your town, you can help shape the training that the BDCC will provide through 2020. In the past, for instance, we have focused on connectivity, housing, and working lands. There's a survey for what they're asking that it be sent back by February 15th. Let me read some of the titles of the that they're asking about, or what they're the blanks that they have. There are 6 opportunities to name a project title, type, public or nonprofit, work development, private sector, infrastructure and transportation, or other. And then they give space for contact name, email, town, location, and a short description of the project. At this point, I'm just making sure that major projects, the only thing I can think of is the Arch Bridge. And that's not this year.
Right.
So
it's gonna start in this coming year.
yeah. Can anybody think of anything else that we should reply with? I will just write in here, no major projects, no project envisioned, and we'll send it back to them so that we're done on it. I just thought of something that I probably should have brought up earlier under new business, and that is under the broad title of Broadband. Juanetta and I both attended a meeting last week sponsored by, I'm not sure exactly who was sponsoring it, but it consisted of representatives from several companies and the state of Vermont, in which they outlined a proposal. This includes Wyndham Regional, a proposal for the study of broadband need throughout the region being that area that Wyndham Regional Commission serves, so that a business plan can be put together to try to bring broadband to the region. And I guess I won't stick my neck out too much farther because I really don't understand certain aspects of it. There will be another meeting on February 6th to go into this in a little more detail. And I know that a number of people in town would love to have broadband, better, everything. However, I am certainly not the person to be in the middle of that melee talking for the town of Newfane. And I think someone does have to go to that February meeting. And I'm asking for suggestions of someone who might be appropriate for that, and to represent the town from here on till I don't know how long it would be, in planning and perhaps getting a business plan to put together, and then in the long run, helping bring it into town. Has anyone any suggestions? The only one I could think of, and I hate to bring his name up because he probably wouldn't do it, would be Bauman, who does our
Upset.
technical stuff, if you want to call it that, at this particular point. If not, he might have an idea of someone else. I think it's worth contacting him and see if he is a conduit to someone.
Would you be willing to contact him and
Sure.
find out?
If you would do that, I'd appreciate it. You have as much background and knowledge as I have on it. So. Thank you.
You're welcome. Maybe between the two of us, we can make one.
Yeah. Did I miss anything under correspondence?
Planning commission,
Sorry.
the one on the far, yep, from the planning commission.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This could almost be sneaked in under new business rather than correspondence. This again is from Ken Esty as the chair of the Newfane Planning Commission. Dear Select Board, please find attached the proposed bylaw change to the Town of Newfane zoning bylaw to add natural burial grounds as a conditional use in the Town of Newfane's resource district. I send to you the same document sent to you on November 25th as part of our obligation to alert you and surrounding towns et al. Of the upcoming public hearing. As per our obligation, 24 VSA 4441D and 4444, we conducted our public hearing. Hearing occurred on Thursday, December 12th, 2019, with about 15 persons in attendance. Juanetta Powling should have the attendance sheet. The 3-member planning commission voted 3-0 to send the proposed bylaw unchanged from the November 25th submittal to you for the select board for your deliberation. I also attached written comments submitted to the planning commission with respect to the proposed bylaw change. We read these comments to those in attendance. The other comment arrived that evening, but as I lacked a scanner, I will send it to you under separate. As I lack a scanner, I will send it to you under separate cover. We now have the proposal from the Planning Commission, and it's up to us to schedule a hearing. It's up to the select board to schedule a hearing. And I think it would be well to do it on an evening other than a regular meeting, I think there'll be a number of people in attendance, and it will take a little time and eat into any regular meeting agenda. So I would ask for recommendations as to a date, and perhaps time for a hearing on that proposal for an amendment to the zoning bylaw.
I thought we went over this once and settled it.
I thought we had too.
Yes.
Before we schedule a public hearing, do you think we could discuss this after we read the attachments that he sent? And then schedule a public hearing after
Sure.
our next regular meeting? Can we continue this to the next?
Well, the hearing has to be less than 15 days, and not, which is, today's day 0, so we're fine. And we've got plenty of time. If you want to,
Discuss it on our
get a
next
chance of
meeting,
this and do it on our next regular meeting, we can do it.
February 3rd.
So your response time is 15 days from today?
Not before 15 days, and not more than 60.
Okay.
It has to be warned, but that's quick and easy too. So could you make changes, make copies of this for everybody?
I believe there's copies on the counter, on the table.
Oh, everybody has one,
I believe so.
of all the stuff. Thank you.
No, that's the last one you handed out. We didn't get copies of that because it was part of correspondence.
I think it's all in his paperclip.
Right, but we
Oh.
all would like copies so we
This
can
is not
review.
one packet, it is many packets.
I believe so.
Oh,
My
okay.
mistake.
Thank you,
My
Annetta.
mistake. Getting greedy.
You wanted it all for
Won't share.
yourself. Thank you.
Okay, let's let this go, table it until our next regular meeting. That was your
Yes, please.
I think just to be prim and proper, we have a motion from Angela to postpone discussion on the green burial until our next regular meeting. Is there a second? Thank you. Is there discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you.
So it'll be on the schedule for the 3rd.
Good grief. Is there any other business other than pay orders to come before us this evening? Hearing none, we will move to pay orders, and those that don't want to sit around through pay orders, thank you all
Great to
very
see you.
much.
God bless everyone.